Hi, World Recapped here. Today, I'm going to explain an episode from the Thai mystery thriller anthology series. A cynical college professor takes a keen interest in a talented young writing student. A detective investigates the death of the patriarch of an eccentric, combative family. When renowned crime novelist Harlan Thrombey, Christopher Plummer, is found dead at his estate just after his 85th birthday, the inquisitive and debonair detective Benoit Blanc, Daniel Craig, is mysteriously enlisted to investigate. From Harlan's dysfunctional family to his devoted staff, Blanc sifts through a web of red herrings and self-serving lies to uncover the truth behind Harlan's untimely death. Lionsgate. Nothing could blemish the otherwise lavish birthday party at the palatial estate of the acclaimed crime/mystery novelist, Harlan Thrombey, except for his strange and unaccountable death. Now, the sharp knife in the silver-haired deceased's hand is a dead giveaway that something, or someone, had been bothering Harlan. Nevertheless, the cryptic detective, Benoit Blanc, is not entirely sure. Indeed, there is more than one member of the successful author's clingy family who has been economical with the truth so far, and as Blanc struggles to shed light on a tangled mess of half-baked leads and little white lies, all eyes are on the grand prize, Harlan's magnificent legacy. Can Benoit get to the bottom of this perplexing case before someone else dies, too? Nick Reganas. The morning after his 85th birthday party held at his Norfolk County mansion with his dysfunctional family of his mother, his surviving children, their spouses, and their children in attendance, successful novelist and publishing house owner Harlan Thrombey, self-made in his wealth, is discovered in his attic study by Fran, one of the housekeepers, him dead with his throat slashed, knife in hand. Arguably the last person to see him alive was his Brazilian nurse, Marta Cabrera, the daughter of an illegal immigrant, something she has told few within this sphere. She went through her evening ritual of playing a game of Go with him and administering his medication at that time. A week later, following the funeral, the local police are questioning the family members at the mansion to see what happened that night that could have led to his death, the questioning in their belief that Harlan committed suicide. The interviewees all confirm the timeline of events supporting that suicide belief. One other person at each of the interviews is famed private detective Benoit Blanc, who the family will learn has been retained as a consultant. What he fails to tell them in return is that he was hired anonymously, cash in advance. Blanc is able to bait many of the interviewees into bad-mouthing other family members while being reticent to admit something that Blanc already seems to know about them, each of the family members looking out solely for him/herself. The key interview, one that happens unexpectedly, may be with Marta, who Blanc suspects was Harlan's confidant and who cannot lie in always having the physical reaction of vomiting whenever she does. One person not interviewed and being absent is one of Harlan's grandchildren, overly privileged Ransom Drysdale, who left the party early after having had a private conversation with his grandfather, he not being interviewed somewhat immaterial as Ransom was known to have not been at the mansion at the time of death. The nature of the investigation changes a week later at the reading of the will, where all will discover, but some who were already aware that Harlan had rewritten it the week before his death, the specific changes not known until this day. With all these comings and goings, learning the full truth of what happened with Harlan may come down to discovering the unknown of who hired Blanc and why. Wealthy crime novelist Harlan Thrombey invites his extended family to his remote mansion on his 85th birthday in order to deliver important, though disappointing, news to a number of family members. The next morning, however, Harlan's housekeeper Fran finds him dead in his study. The police, along with experienced private eye Benoit Blanc, are called in to investigate. Throughout a series of interviews with members of the family, secrets are revealed as well as possible motives for murder. Richard, Harlan's son-in-law, was discovered to have cheated on his wife Linda, Harlan's daughter, with Harlan threatening to expose him. Joni, Harlan's daughter-in-law and wife of his deceased son Neil, was exposed by Harlan after she stole $400,000 from him by sourcing duplicate checks meant for her daughter, Megan, to a private bank account. Walter, Harlan's youngest son, was fired from his father's publishing company during the birthday party. Ransom, Linda, and Richard's son, had discovered he'd been cut out of the will entirely. It is then revealed that after the party, Harlan's caretaker, Marta Cabrera, took Harlan upstairs to give him his nightly medication. After beginning to play a game of Go, Harlan jokingly knocked the board off of the table before Marta could give him his medication. Marta picked up the bottles and injected him, but realized that she accidentally gave him 100 milligrams of morphine. To protect his friend, Harlan gave her strict instructions on how to escape and avoid suspicion before slitting his own throat, leaving Marta shocked. Marta then drove away, parked her car, and returned to the house through the gate entrance, before climbing up the trellis on the side of the house and wearing Harlan's coat and hat to confuse Walter in his peripheral vision, who had seen Marta leave, ruling her out as a suspect. The police questioned Marta, as she is a trustworthy source due to her inability to lie without vomiting, but she makes it through her interrogation without fail. Suspecting foul play, Blanc is determined to find the true cause of death. The next day, Blanc, along with Marta and the police, search the house and its surroundings for clues, many of which Marta is able to cover up before the detectives can find them. Since it is the day of Harlan's will reading, the family anxiously awaits the reveal, and are shocked to hear that Harlan left everything to Marta, including his inheritance, the house, and his company. Despite the family's kindness to Marta the night prior, they quickly turn on her, but Ransom helps her escape. Ransom and Marta then go to a local restaurant where Ransom coaxes Marta into telling him everything. Meanwhile, the family members realize that if Marta can be proven as the murderer, they will regain their inheritance. They insist that the murder investigation continue, and Blanc confirms his suspicion of foul play, adding that everyone is still a potential suspect. This leads to Marta receiving a ransom note reading "I know what you did" along with a partial photocopy of Harlan's toxicology report. Marta drives with Ransom to the medical examiner's office, only to find it up in flames and swarming with police. At Ransom's insistence, Marta checks her email and finds an address and time. Blanc spots the pair before they engage in a car chase, but Marta and Ransom are ultimately unable to evade their pursuers before Ransom is arrested after Juanetta, Harlan's mother and elderly matriarch of the family, falsely identified Marta as him at the house. Marta drives to the address only to find Fran there, drugged. Marta performs CPR on her and calls the police phone line, ensuring that Fran gets to the hospital safely. On the drive back to the mansion, Marta reveals everything to Blanc, who discourages her from confessing to the family. However, Blanc tells her to stop at the last minute when he spots something in a copy of the full toxicology report that Fran had hidden away. The police bring Ransom to the house and place him in a private room where Blanc and Marta are waiting. Blanc reveals that he deduced the murder and goes on to reveal what he knows. The night of the party, Ransom stormed out after discovering Marta's inheritance from Harlan and decided to frame her for his murder. Ransom swapped the contents of the medication vials and removed the emergency morphine counteragent, ensuring the morphine overdose. Ransom then swapped the vials back while the rest of the family was at Harlan's funeral. Fran saw Ransom in Harlan's study that day and deduced his involvement in Harlan's death, prompting her to send him the ransom letter, which Ransom then sent to Marta after cutting out the address. Ransom then burnt down the medical examiner's office to ensure that Harlan's blood work was destroyed. Ransom confronted Fran and drugged her with morphine, nearly killing her before destroying the original copy of the toxicology report and emailing Marta Fran's location in the hopes of fooling the police into believing Marta had murdered Fran. Blanc then reveals that the toxicology report shows that Harlan wasn't poisoned at all, and that Marta had instinctively given Harlan the correct medication, but, noticing the mislabeling, didn't know. Marta receives a call from the hospital and says that Fran is alive, forcing Ransom to admit his crimes before angrily vowing revenge and legal recourse on Marta. At the last moment, Marta vomits on Ransom, revealing that she had lied and that Fran actually died at the hospital. Enraged that he had been tricked into admitting murder and arson, Ransom attempts to stab Marta, but the knife turns out to be one of Harlan's many props. He is then taken into police custody while the rest of the family watches in disgust. As Ransom is taken away, the remaining Thromby family look up to the mansion's balcony to see Marta sipping from Harlan's signature coffee cup with the label "My House, My Rules, My Coffee" written on it. A detective investigates the death of the patriarch of an eccentric, combative family. When renowned crime novelist Harlan Thromby, Christopher Plummer, is found dead at his estate just after his 85th birthday, the inquisitive and debonair detective Benoit Blanc, Daniel Craig, is mysteriously enlisted to investigate. From Harlan's dysfunctional family to his devoted staff, Blanc sifts through a web of red herrings and self-serving lies to uncover the truth behind Harlan's untimely death. Lionsgate. Nothing could blemish the otherwise lavish birthday party at the palatial estate of the acclaimed crime/mystery novelist, Harlan Thromby, except for his strange and unaccountable death. Now, the sharp knife in the silver-haired deceased's hand is a dead giveaway that something, or someone, had been bothering Harlan. Nevertheless, the cryptic detective, Benoit Blanc, is not entirely sure. Indeed, there is more than one member of the successful author's clingy family who has been economical with the truth so far, and as Blanc struggles to shed light on a tangled mess of half-baked leads and little white lies, all eyes are on the grand prize, Harlan's magnificent legacy. Can Benoit get to the bottom of this perplexing case before someone else dies, too? Nick Reganas. The morning after his 85th birthday party held at his Norfolk County mansion with his dysfunctional family of his mother, his surviving children, their spouses, and their children in attendance, successful novelist and publishing house owner Harlan Thromby, self-made in his wealth, is discovered in his attic study by Fran.
How it's supposed to feel.